What up, guys? Jason Guyman here with Christmas lights, pressure washing, any service business that's out there. And I want to talk about the funs and joys of being a pressure washing Christmas lights business, or any business that is that you start and try to grow as a business. And we're going to talk about the struggles that we get to go through. I had a couple Zoom calls this week, and I've heard some people talking and, expressing their feelings, and, they're getting burnt out and whatever it might be that they're having issues with. And some people are struggling with maybe getting customers, or getting, higher price tickets. And I just want to hit on all of those little things that will drive us crazy, that will cause headaches. Because, I posted a meme this week, and it had a line for, easy stuff. And, it was just, you want to win versus the things that get you there. And so I've been thinking about this a lot, of what does it take to get us from here to here. And that's what I want to hit on tonight, of what it takes to get us from here to here. And I don't know if anybody's commenting or not, but I have not seen my comments, and I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Posted 3 destinations. But hopefully you are. If you are, or otherwise I may have to go try to get another way of getting post up here, so that way I can see your comments. I had to restart my computer, and you never know what happens to that, or I will be talking for an hour. I won't be talking that long if I don't have questions. So let's think about what are the reasons why some people are successful and why other people are not successful. And this doesn't matter what business you're in. This doesn't matter where you are in business, whether you're just starting out. Maybe you're in this for 2 or 3 years. Maybe you are, maybe you're trying to get to the point of getting employees. A lot of times I see that struggle when we are at the point of getting off the truck, trying to find employees. There's not an employee out there that's worth a crap. Nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to do anything. If you've said that out of your mouth, or you've done that, give me a comment or give me a thumbs up. Give me something to let me hear you, because I want to hear that, and I am seeing some comments coming through now. So what's up, family? But the reason why I'm doing this is because as a business owner, it gets very stressful and tough sometimes. And so, I talked to Clay a couple weeks ago. Clay is a guy that has come to my pressure washing and Christmas light class, and he's grown his business, and he's down in Alabama, and he's doing very well for himself. He's going to probably hit $150,000 to $200,000 this year. And, he was talking earlier of, man, why is it so hard? Why do I want to quit, right? Why can't it be easier? And so I can't get my employees to do what I need them to do. And I talked to another guy, Nathan. He's a young fella. He's out of Kentucky, and he's been to my classes, and he's going to hit $150,000, $200,000, and he's trying to get it with employees and can't find nobody to work, and the same thing. And as I was talking to him, I said, is it the employees or is it the boss? And so sometimes we need to fire ourselves, and it can be hard, right? Because if you're not a good leader, people will flock, or if you are a good leader, people will flock to you. And if you're not, you work by yourself and work on yourself. And so as we do this is something that I just want to hit on. I know this probably ain't going to be a big popular video, but this is for you guys that are trying to grow a business, trying to get to the next level, trying to do what you need to do to grow your business. And so that's what I want to hit on tonight, of what are those things that we can do to grow our business and to overcome the struggles that come with a pressure washing, Christmas light, junk removal, landscaping, any type of business, electrical, plumbing, any type of business out there. How do we overcome these problems that we are going to have as we keep growing this business? And so, before we get going in here too far, I see some people that are posting here, and I always like to say hi, and I always like to kind of go from there. Yes, I know I'm in my Christmas stuff. Yes, I know tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Again, don't eat too much tomorrow to make you feel terrible. I just have an awesome, I hope everyone has an awesome Thanksgiving. So fresh look interior, motivation, hunger. If you're a good leader of people, they will flock to you who work on yourself. And this is so important. What's up, Dallas Roach? You know, they're a new company. They're a new company out of St. Louis. They're getting a lot done, so it's pretty awesome to see them growing their business. We're excited to see you soon. Been crushing installs today. We've got 3 large ones done today. P.S. Patrick says, what's up? So that's pretty awesome. I am going to, I will be in St. Louis in 2 weeks. I believe it is. Not this weekend, but next weekend, I think it is. So that will be pretty cool to get to see some of their installs, as I can drive around and see some of their installs. Hey man, I love you, bro. Happy Thanksgiving to you. I started my own company called Pretty Lit, done everything from $0 start, which is awesome, man. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Aloha, are you from from Hawaii? Which I know I got people flooding the areas with signs tonight. That's good. I'm in Cincinnati. Just saw your work in person on the jewelry store. Looks great. Looking forward to see the zoo all lit up. In the jewelry store too. So I actually helped the person install this. They're Haven Lighting. We are actually going to be having a training with them. They're a big landscape company. They actually make color landscape lighting, and one of the only ones that do. And so we will be doing, if you're thinking about doing landscape lighting, it's going to be a 5-day hands-on class, like 3 days hands-on the portion of landscape lighting, a day of marketing, and then a day of Christmas lights. So that will be fun. But back to this jewelry store, they're supposed to change the color of the lights on the landscape lighting portion of it, and so they'll change it to red and green, which will also make it even, I think it will probably look even better than the colors that we have. We've not hired anyone in 16 months. We pay above average, have fun events, bring in breakfast on Monday, snacks and drinks and free in our shop, have never yelled at an employee. Company culture rules. You know, this is what I want to hit on, because, you know, as I look back and as I worked in the workforce, I had good bosses, I had crappy bosses, and as I look at this, and as I look at companies that are growing, that have great employees, it really does come down to company culture, right? And it's not just company culture, because if you just have company culture and you just have all the fun things, then the problem of it is, I would about bet a lot of money on that David Hamill has systems, right? He has systems of when someone gets hired, this, and this is what they do, right? Because we can't go and say, yeah, we got all this fun stuff, and they don't do nothing, right? And so the number one thing that as we start growing and scaling to get new employees is you have to put systems in place so that they can go find ways to know how to do things, right? Everybody has a system. It doesn't mean it's the right system, but everybody has a system. So in my group and my Facebook group, there have been some questions on how do I how do I do this, or how do I do that? How do I get my employees to do this? How do I get my employees to do that? And a lot of it has to come down to, how do you do it, right? Do you put a system in place and then not follow it yourself? Because if you put a system in place and you don't follow it yourself, well, why is your employee going to follow it? They're not, right? If you have a lead technician, maybe you're not the one teaching the people, but you have a lead technician and you have systems in place and he's not following them, but he's training the next person. Well, that's a bad thing, right? Because they're only going to do 80% of what you do, and the next person is only going to do 80% of what they're doing, and the next person they're teaching is only going to do 80% of that. Before we know it, we're at 0% of teaching nothing, right? And so this is why it is important for your employees to go over this. And some of this could even be down to, you do your weekly meetings, right? David Hamill said we do weekly meetings or weekly events. Breakfast on Mondays, that's probably a weekly meeting when that goes along with it. And this is a good time to do role playing, right? Hey, you knock on the door, I'm the customer, you're the technician, let's play, right? Hey, Bob, and let them play against with each other and let them do what they need to do and find out how you can help them be better when they knock on the door. And you might say, Jason, it's just knocking on the door. I want to tell you something. I was talking to a good friend of mine today. He owns a car wash, or he sold it, but he owns a car wash. He still works there. His son owns a car wash. And he got his gutters cleaned out. And it has gutter guards on it, and all he needed was there. The dude pulled up in a crappy car with a ladder tied to it, gets out, looks like crap, and dresses like crap. And the appearance, right? If you want to look like a company, then look like a freaking company, right? Have your vehicles wrapped. Have your uniform on. If you can't afford a uniform, go to the Goodwill store and get some polos, and at least you're going to look nice. Have some khaki pants on, right? Blue jeans look like crap. You get a rip in them, they get bleach on them, they get whatever. Blue jeans look like crap. And so look like a professional. Even if you don't have a professional look to you, look like a professional, right? Clean shaving, or at least a nicely trimmed beard. Not this thing that's growing out like this every which way, and hair's growing out like this every which way. And I know sometimes we don't, ow, you stupid cat, get off of me. Sometimes we don't have that, but that's what we have to do to be able to grow a successful business. Now, just because you do this doesn't mean you're going to grow and doesn't mean you're going to be successful. But it's back to fake it till you make it. And if you can't do some things like this, then how can you ask for professionalism from your employees to show professionalism to your customers, right? This is the whole point of it. So back to my point of, I know I kind of got off on a tangent there, but this is really important as we grow any business. It doesn't matter what it is. You got to have systems in place. You got to have, if you're going to have, one of the most important hires you can make is an office manager, right? Someone that's running the office, because they will make sure that you're getting paid. They will make sure that they're answering the phone. They can be one of the most important people that you have, right? Because that is the very first person that all your customers start listening to. It doesn't matter what business you're in, the office manager or the person that's answering the phone, the person that is doing whatever, this is how, that is the most important person that can be either make or break you. DJ has his dad answer his phone, and they all love him. They've actually told DJ that they hired them because of the way the dad answered the phone. And so this is important as we grow our business so that we sound professional, right? We sound like we know what we're talking about. We make sure that we are selling a solution and we're solving a problem, and we're not just pressure washing, we're not just putting up Christmas lights, right? We are solving problems with amazing customer service. And this all comes from that person in the office. Now, we can't expect that person in the office to know exactly everything what to do right out of the get-go. And so, you need to have phone scripts for them. So when they answer the phone, they sound professional. They know what they're talking about. You need to have scripts of, what if they say this, right? What if they say, well, you're too expensive. Awesome. I got a phone script that I can walk down and I can hit on every point that need happen. Doesn't matter if we're talking about pressure washing. It doesn't matter if we're talking about Christmas lights. It doesn't matter about what service you're offering. You have a system that is a script that's going to help that overcome that objection. Maybe it's, I got to talk to my husband. You know what? Awesome. There's two ways. I was actually brought this up to my wife. And, as I learn more about the personalities and dispersonalities, we know D's are mostly entrepreneurs, and we know that S's are mostly workers, and most of them are your customers because there's 69% of them. But when they say that, it doesn't mean to keep pressing, right? That doesn't mean that you just keep pressing. I mean, is it we can push some a little, but if you push an S too far, they won't buy from you no matter what you do. You done pissed them off. And some of them may want to talk to their husband. And so those are some things that we can think about as we are growing our business. And so again, as this person is answering the phone, you have different scripts. Maybe they say, whatever that you all have, what are some things that people tell you of why they're not buying, right? Put it in the comments. What have you been told that people aren't buying? And then you come up with a script so that way you hit on different things. Because if we're just flying off the seat of our pants, then we don't know what we're going to say, right? We're going to be like all over the board. And so this is why it is important that we do this so that we sound professional, we look professional. You might be professional. You still might not be, but at least you look like it, you sound like it, you act like it. Then at least you're doing a great job of being a fake whatever you're trying to be. But that's something that we can do to make this happen to be better than anybody else. Christmas light sales are up 75% this year, and our prices are 30% higher than the biggest competitor who has been doing lights for years. We can do this because we look and operate like professionals. When you do look and operate like professionals, people will buy from you even if you're the most expensive. And you know what the number one reason why most people will buy from you? It's because you answer the phone. You know how many times that people will, I've heard it, I've called you and you're the first one out of 10 people to answer your phone. It's like, well, no joke. Well, guess what? You answer your phone, you do what you say you're going to do, and you get the quote out quick, you probably got the job, right? Because it's about looking professional. And it's not just looks, but there's acts that you can do that make you professional too, like answering the phone, getting the quote out fast. And so as we're doing this, yes, this is a stressful time of year. Yes, it is one of those things that you can, we get that a lot. Explosive comments, a expensive comment. But it is one of those things that as we do this, as we are learning how to grow a business, it is one of the biggest things that we got to do. And you know what? It's not easy. A lot of people want the easy button. They just want it easy. They want it spoon-fed to them. They don't want to go out and try to figure out how many feet it is or learn how to do it. They just want everything spoon-fed, right? In my Christmas light group that I have, it's like, how much is it? Well, and so instead of just giving them answers, I'd be like, how many feet is it? Right? Start thinking, use your brain. You got a brain up here, use it. You can figure it out. It's not rocket science, right? How big is this house? Well, it's 2,000 square feet. Awesome. Now you can times that by 20 cents or 30 cents if you're pressure washing it. Awesome. 2,000 square feet. Don't tell me nothing. If you're putting Christmas lights on it, how many feet do you need? Well, I don't know. All right. Okay, well, let's start figuring it out, right? We know that door right there is 7 feet. Now, take that 7 feet and go all the way across that roof. Now, you come back and tell me how much that roof is, right? Because if I just sit here and tell you, then you'll never learn. And then the people that really get me, and this is why people go out of business, is they're cheap, and there's always going to be a cheap guy. You know what? I've been doing this business since 2012, and in all the groups and all the forums, I hear it every year. You're just ruining, and it's not nothing new. They're just ruining the industry. They're just oversaturating. They're just ruining the industry. They're just oversaturating it. Well, you know what? You can be a $99 guy and worry about the $99 guy, or you can go out there and be a business and not worry about them and crush them, right? That's what I did. I didn't worry about my competition. I just crushed them. I wanted to make sure that I was the best and I was number one in a bunch of my keywords, and that's all I wanted to do. And I knew my phone would blow up. I didn't even act like they were there. You know why? Because 9 times out of 10, we got the phone answered. At one time, we had 2 people answering the phone, and it came to us if they didn't get it, because we knew how important it was to answer the phone, and it is one of the most important things to do. And is this stressful? Absolutely is stressful. 100% stressful. If I told you it wasn't stressful, I'd be lying to you right now. And it's very hard and stressful. But you know what? It's the best thing you can ever do, right? Entrepreneurship is the best thing you can ever do. Are you going to have hard times? Sure, you're going to have hard times. But can you have time freedom? Absolutely. Can you go see your kids' games because you can get off early? Absolutely, right? Now, is there times that you might miss them? Sure there is, right? But if you put in enough time, you put in 2 or 3 years. I know David James posted on Facebook, it's like 3 years of grinding, and I would agree with that. It's going to take you 2 to 3 years to figure out how to get yourself off that truck. Now, can people do it faster than that? Sure they can if they're a good leader. But it comes down to good leadership, knowing your numbers, and being able to have people do things that you want to do. I said it before that, I took the job of water rescue. I'm the captain of Boone County Water Rescue. It's an all-volunteer organization. I don't get paid a dime. I spend a lot of time on it, but I don't get paid a dime. And when I took it over, there was 30 members. I've been on it for 20 years, almost 20 years. This year will be 20 years. 2024, I will have been there 20 years. August of 2024, I joined in August of 2004, so I will have been there 20 years, volunteering for 20 years. And it's something that I love to do, right? I love to help people to find their loved ones, because that's what we do. We're a recovery, and we do a lot of recoveries, and that's what we do. But you know what? That's what I do, and I've done it for 20 years. And so I just took captain of it. And it's awesome when you have someone that puts into your people and let them grow and let them use their God-given talents to grow, right? And to give their talents to be able to use it for other people and use their strength. And when you find people and you let them use their strength, as a team, everyone grows, right? Now, is there times I might have to lead and guide? Sure there is. But if I just tell people, you got to come to me and you got to do it my way or the highway, well, guess what? I don't know everything. Even in business, even in a pressure washing Christmas light business, you will find someone that can answer that phone 100 times better than you can. And you might be like, well, I wouldn't say that. Well, did they close the job? Maybe you should say that, right? And so as we do this, this is important. I love this book right here because he talks about a phone conversation, the ultimate sales machine. He talks in here about a phone conversation that he ended up having an hour phone conversation. And he was doing something with like selling advertisement is what he was selling. And he had an hour and a half phone conversation with the guy on the phone. And the boss was livid. His boss was livid. And it ended up being like Microsoft or somebody like that he was able to then sell like millions and millions of dollars off of it because he went and he listened to the dude for an hour, right? And talk to the dude for an hour. Not just be in business, but being that person, learning that person, and that's how you're able to be able to grow your business. And so it is important that as we do this, to make sure that you listen to what other people want, and then you can sell on that, right? You know, we get in these phone sales and we get into going to the in-person, and we want to just be like vomit, right? We're just like, blah, blah. My bulbs, I peaked the bulb, blah. I use chemicals, blah, pressure washing, right? I don't use high pressure, just blah. All we do is spewing. It's just spewing, right? They don't give two rats. They don't give two rats about that, right? We're just spewing. You know what? Their grandkid's coming over for Christmas, and they haven't seen their grandkid in 6 months because they live out of state. Do you think she gives two rats about that bulb, or do you think it's more about what that kid's going to see on her face? That's what's important. So that's what you need to focus on. Those are the things that you need to work on. So with that, if you have any pressure washing questions, any Christmas-like questions, I'll answer them. I'm going to kind of go through some of the comments here. But, you know, it is one of those things that as you keep growing, as you keep learning, and never stop learning. That's, you know, that's probably one of the most important things you can do is never stop learning. When you think you know it all, I promise you, you do not know it all. You don't. I know you don't. You know how I know you don't? Because you don't. And you might think you do, but you don't know everything. Never stop learning. Let's see. Thanks for the Haven shout out and all of your help, Jason. You are right, David. Yelling and write-ups only get you short-term gains. Being a great leader gets you tenfold. And it's so true. It doesn't. It doesn't. I promise you it doesn't. You know what? If they're late, then you may need to deal with that person a little bit. But are you on time? That's my question. If you're showing up late every day, how can you expect your employees to do it? Well, I'm the boss. Yeah, you're the boss. You should be showing it. Not telling, but doing. Right? And if it's such a big deal, then you better have your butt there 15 minutes early and not be climbing over somebody because they're late. Because if you're late and you never show up and you're only showing up and climbing in people's butt because they're late, you're a sucky boss is what you are. Right? And I hate to say that, but that's what it comes down to. But I'm the boss. I can do. Okay, yeah, you can work it by yourself then too, because that's what it's going to end up happening. Signs are up in Southwest Florida, and one sign got me the biggest ticket of $2,800 for a roof wash and a house wash. You know, I love signs. Signs are awesome. You know, signs can get you in trouble. I've been dealing with some of those people too. But I see some, you know, I was talking to Sam out of Indianapolis, and his number one ROI is coming off of signs. And to get him to almost $600,000-$700,000, his number one ROI is still signs. Signs do work. That's what I do. Talk to myself on Mondays during breakfast and get stuff done. Queensboro is very cheap and great quality for uniforms. 100%. You can get uniforms for $8, $9, $10 for polos. 20, maybe $15 with a logo and everything. Now, are they the best quality shirts? No. You can get the Nike ones for $25, right? $25 for a logo shirt. And I would agree 100%. I got a lot of shirts out of Queensboro. You know, that's definitely something that you can do. Are you talking about MD with the beard? Me. I wish I could find someone that could trust to put out signs. Then do it. You know, there's systems out there that you can do. You can use Company Cam. It costs you $20. That's your $20 insurance of making sure that they do it. And when they go out there and they take a picture of each sign wherever they put it out, it's going to geotag that sign. So you're going to see the geotag where it is. You're going to see the location of it, and you're going to see the picture of it. These are ways that we can make sure that we can keep us going. Too high is the one I get the most, but it's okay. Continue to grow the sales process, and not everyone is your customer, right? Keep learning, keep growing, see what you need to do to change. How many years did it take to hit a million? So 2012 is when I started, and 2016 was the first time we hit a million. What's a good link for websites that had them do that, not had to let go? King of Marketing is an awesome person to do them. It's me. If you want that, otherwise, I don't really have a better option for you, to be honest. It depends on what you're wanting. Marco, how are you doing from California? How do you get over the fear of heights? You know, this is a tough one. When I first started, I was actually scared of heights. I was terrified. So I'll tell a little bit of story on myself. So I was a full-time fireman, but before I was a full-time fireman, I was actually a mechanic. And so, and I worked on fire trucks, and I worked on aerials. And one of the things you got to do on aerials is you got to go up in them. And it scared the living hell out of me. I would go up very slow, or I wouldn't go up different ways, because it literally scared me. I was worried. And so it is something that if you keep doing it, you can get over it. Make sure you're using safety equipment. One of my first big commercial jobs, we had to rent a 130-foot lift. And yes, I knew how to run lifts, but 130 feet up that overlooked the valley. By day 4, which it took us 4 days to do, we're up in the lift, and I'm like, why is this thing shaking so bad? It was me and my good friend Jeremy, who I grew up with, and I mean, the whole basket's up there shaking, and I'm like, why is this thing shaking up here? He looks down at me and he goes, look at your knees. My knees were literally shaking the whole basket as we're like 120 feet up in the air, and I was just like, I'm ready to be done with this job. This is stupid. But don't do nothing that you're not comfortable with. Make sure my first year I did 39 installs, and in 38 of them I did off the ladder. I literally climbed every one of them because I was scared to do anything. Now, the goat helps me a lot to do on the roof. If I got to get up on the roof, the goat helps. Having cougar paws helps. Having pitch hopper helps. So having the right tools can definitely help. We hate windows. In fact, doing a callback tomorrow, we don't offer windows, but sometimes get forced to do. Best way to attach. Hot glue and 3M tape doesn't keep them up. So if you do the hot glue on brick and stuff, you want to use the Gorilla Glue. That's the best glue to use for the hot glue is Gorilla Glue. If you use the light strip clips for the plastic on there, you want to make sure you use alcohol on the plastic to get it clean, because if it's not clean 100%, it won't stick. You will have issues with it sticking. And the other thing is too, if it's cold out, anything above like 50, 60 degrees, if it's below that, it won't stick very good either. So you want to use like a portable hot heat gun, and either heat up the sticky part of the tape or heat up the metal, so when that way it sticks, it'll get a better bond. And then once you get that bond, it won't come off. But to get that bond, you definitely need to make sure that it's clean with an alcohol. Denature alcohol, put it on a rag, make sure, I always do it twice, because if it's got any oxidation on it or anything, and it sticks to that glue first, it will fall off every time. So making sure that it's super clean, and then making sure that it's warm. That stuff sticks best when you're about 70, 75 degrees is the best time that glue will set that adhesive for it. So that's the way you do that. Did a vinyl house this week. The front side didn't come clean, let blue, but had a brown tint stain. Wasn't oxidized. Tried every chem on the truck. Done hundreds and never seen this before. Let's see. Had a house. Front side didn't come clean. Light blue, but had a brown tint stain. Huh. I don't know. It wasn't flash oxidation, was it? I mean, that kind of. I know it'll turn white if you have like white around windows. It'll turn like a brown, like that brown color, like a flash oxidation. I don't know what that would be. Oh, I have a fear of heights. The proper equipment and training help me. Stabilizer, yeah, a stabilizer on the ladder is a really good thing. So that way it keeps that ladder tight. Levelers on the bottom. Ridge Pro, Goat. Yep, 100%. Do I get to keep the lights? Question. Do I get to keep the lights? Question. Have a script for that, right? Have a script for when that happens, right? And some of that is as you're selling it in the beginning, you will answer all of those questions, so they can't even ask that question. Because if they ask that question, you can be like, yeah, you remember when I just told you right there that this is a all-inclusive service. We bring the lights, we make it right. We didn't say nothing about do you get to keep the lights. We hit it up there in that section there. Thanks for the advice on the window advice. Yeah, I hate windows. That's why we never did any windows. Now, I will be doing a video. I'm going to be doing 3 videos on windows coming up. Why? Because you all love windows and don't listen to me. So that's why I do it. Because it's a very watched video. And so if you're going to watch it, I will put it up there for you. But I do not recommend doing windows for Christmas light business. You can do a lot of better things than doing that. I would much rather do the top, like the ridges, and do ground stake lights, and all of that makes that look 10 times better than lights around windows. And I was actually DJing myself, rode around Cincinnati, or we rode around Mainville area. It's on the northeast side of Cincinnati. It's high-end area, and I seen very few windows. It was mostly rooftops and then getting on the ground. Very few windows that were done. So there is people starting to listen to me, I guess, even the locals. Now, they're probably not listening to me on price, because I could tell that a lot of the lights were out. And so that tells me you're using cheap, crappy products. And almost every house we went to, lights were out except the ones DJ done. So it was pretty bad, some of them. So go fix your lights. If you're up in the Mainville, if you have houses in the Mainville area, go check them and fix them, because it looks like crap. And some of them were falling off the roof. But what other questions? Other than that, again, I do have I'm gonna see if I can pull it up here. I have this class that I have coming for. I don't have a quick link to it yet, but it is a 4-day. It's going to be a 5-day class. It will be tons of information. It'll be great information, hands-on training, the ultimate experience. Again, this is going to teach you how to do core drilling. It's going to teach you how to do landscape lighting. It'll teach you everything about landscape lighting. Michael Zuzak will be there. And so that is what this training will be. Again, it's at Haven Lighting. It's pretty cool. If you look at the picture, this is what they did last year versus what we did this year on the one picture. And when we get the picture of turning the lights different colors, it'll actually look even better. So that is pretty cool right there. Got to charge more on windows, as the one thing that will fail will be the one at the very top. Unfortunately, you are right. It's not one that you can be just like glue it right at the top. And it'll be like the 2nd story window or the 2.5 story window that you got to get the ladder out, and it's right over the bushes. That's over the steps, so it's not even. It's not always going to be the easiest one. It's going to be the most pain in the butt one that you got. Jason saw me doing some window work the other day while on a call, and he cringed. They are very time consuming, but a good upsell, nothing less when done right. But again, you can sell a lot of other things and make way more money than those stupid windows. It just looked like it was old and used up and maybe too far gone. Could it be a walnut tree? Nothing touched it. Never had vinyl look like that. Usually that blue color is one of the worst colors. Is, that will get you. The blue can be a pain in the butt color, just overall, and so that baby blue and that tan, that stuff that will oxidize really fast for you, or that will be oxidized. And so, I guess my question is if you tried to get it off, the only way I would maybe be able to tell you to get it off is to do a like an oxidation removal. So try either F13 or whatever it might be to get the oxidation removal process off. And it ain't going to be a fun process at all. It's going to be a pain in the butt process, but it is something that with pressure washing is, you just, I know sometimes the ones that I always had problems with is they had like a brown look at the top right underneath the eaves where all that heat would bake that stuff on, and some of that wouldn't come off, especially if it was old. So that could be what you're dealing with too. Haven Lighting / pages / there. My dad lives next to a asphalt company, and his vinyls get stained from the suet that places create. And so at that point, you got to use a degreaser because it won't come off because it's not organic. And so then you have to look at it that way. The other thing with this too on there, I know that I know that I was actually down in Frankfurt Monday. I had to go down there for water rescue, and there's a bunch of bourbon places and whiskey places and different breweries and stuff. And so you get to see the old shotgun or the whiskey fungus, and it turns everything completely black. But you put bleach on that stuff, and it just kills it right now and cleans it right up. It's actually pretty cool. Old mud dauber stains on stucco houses. I had to use a little hand brush. Any other solutions? I just soap the crap out of it, and there's not really any good. And sometimes you do have to do a little love to it, but they suck. Especially when they get into brick. And, I mean, at least brick, you can hit it with a little bit more pressure. When you get on stucco, you don't want to hit it with too much pressure because then you can blow through the stucco, and then you got a bigger problem. Because stucco, all it is depending on what it is can be just styrofoam behind it with paint over it, basically. So, are we past peak season for leads, or do anything usually get crazy after Thanksgiving? Being that Thanksgiving is early this year, being that we got almost a week before December, we should still get some pretty good leads even next week. A lot of people try to get up their lights before Thanksgiving, but last night as we drove around, a lot of people didn't have their lights up. So should be a good week that they will start before December 1st. So, like I said, usually if Thanksgiving's late, that hurts you because it's late. But being that it's early this year, we're on the 22nd, 23rd will be Thanksgiving. So the 30th, we actually got a whole nother month, or a whole nother week of lights. So that will help us for our lights. I'm too impatient for these cold weather jobs. Slow dwell time sucks. It does. Cold weather sucks. I hate cold weather. I hate the nights getting early. I hate it getting dark at 5:30. That sucks too. But I guess it's just part of life, right? So those are the two things that I hate also. But other than that, I hope you all have an amazing Thanksgiving. Be thankful for where you are. Look at where you come from. I know a lot of times we don't look at our gains. We only look at our failures of not making our goals or whatever. But look where you come from. I look back and I just think if you would have told me I would be at where I'm at right now 5 years ago, 10 years ago when I started a pressure washing business, I would have said you are crazy. I started a pressure washing business when I'm 32 years old. And all I had done before, I'd try to a fire truck business, and it didn't do very good. I only made about $20,000 a year off of it. But if you'd have told me that a pressure washing business could make $1 million, and I would be teaching people how to hit $100,000 and $1 million, and to be able to help you grow your business, I would have said you're crazy. I didn't even like being on video when I started this. Like in 2016 and 17, when I started trying to do video, I didn't even like being on video. I didn't like hearing my voice. I still don't like hearing my voice. Some of you might not like hearing my voice, or your wife might not like hearing my voice. But some of you do, and some of you listen, and some of you take action, and that's what sets you apart. And that's how you're able to hit $1 million. That's how you're able to hit $100,000, right? Because when you listen and you take action, and you listen to the advice that I give you, and it might be hard sometimes, but you do it, and you will learn that you will be way more successful. You know, I was talking to DJ the other day, and he is going to be about where he was last year. He's not really going to grow. He's actually done less jobs this year, but he's actually making the exact same amount of money. And so that's the thing, right? It's not about trying to get 1,000 jobs, because if you go out there and get 1,000 jobs and they're $100, you're not making no money. I'd much rather you go get 100 jobs and charge $1,000, right? Because it's way easier to find 100 people to pay you $1,000 than 1,000 people to pay you $100. And so when you get these things in your head and it helps you understand it, that's what it's all about. And that's what I'm excited. You know, as I said, you know, happy Thanksgiving. You know, be thankful for where you got, be thankful for where you're going. And, you know, the next couple of weeks I'll be hitting on, you know, trying to see, where do you want to go at? Where did you hit at this year? What are your numbers that got you there? What do you want to go at, and where do you want to be at next? And that's very important that we are looking at that and doing that. Doing storefronts with store signage, what's the best way to protect and or clean around these? Most of them are okay if you clean around them as is, because they're designed to be outside anyway. But if you can turn power off, that always helps them too. So that way there's less chance of screwing stuff up. Are you doing a class in St. Louis when you go? No, I am not. My daughter has soccer out there. We are in a league that one of our actually we're doing a tournament out there in St. Louis. And so that's why I will be in St. Louis on a Friday, Saturday, and come home on Sunday. We'll actually be out there on a Thursday night. And that's why I'm going to go meet him. Wife says, you look like Dr. Phil. I don't know about that. But tree wrapping is kicking my butt. I've had several callbacks and had to go back and fix them. What's the issue with them? Are they not enough lights? Are they not close enough? Not far enough? Are they, you know, and this is something that I was thinking about this today on pricing and why we price what we price and all of that. You know, I'm going to make my tree look amazing no matter if I only told them 2 strands and it takes 4, I'm putting 4 strands on. You know, and this is one reason why I teach people to charge that $30 to $60 a strand, because if you're charging $20 a strand or $25 a strand, and you go in there and you say, hey, you know what, I think it's going to take 10 strands, that's $250, and that's it. But it takes 15, you've put up strands for free, basically, right? You didn't even barely cover your cost. But if I charge $40, $50 and I add an extra 5, okay, it's not hurting me as much. Right? And you're never going to know what everything is perfectly, right? I guarantee you're never going to hear everything perfect. And so this is why I charge the $30 to $60 a strand. And when I was in business, we were at the $40 to $50 strand myself, because I hated doing minis. And if I did them, I wanted to make them look right, because the last thing I want to do is go put on a couple minis and then it looks like crap. And so that's why it's important that we wrap that sucker and wrap them good. And so I will be showing pictures coming up this week and the next of pictures that look good versus pictures that look bad. Like I said, I went out the other night and I was out late. We were out till it was almost 10:30, 11 o'clock when I got home, and just getting lots of photos of pictures of houses, and not just my houses but other houses. And so, that's what I did that for, so that way we could see what's going on, right? And so as I did that, I realized, some people looks good and some of them don't look so good. And so, as we were doing it, we got to see it. And so, let me see if I can pull this picture up here. I don't think that's the picture I want. Let me take a screenshot of that. And this way you can see one of the jobs we did that I helped that didn't do it. I took off too soon. And, it's pretty cool to go look at pictures that you've done. I like looking at pictures of really cool houses and really cool stuff because, I love Christmas lights. And as DJ and I both said earlier, before, I never cared about Christmas lights. But this was a job of Haven Lighting. Again, Haven Lighting, if you look here and you see the, I can't point it here, but on the columns you see some uplights shining up. Those, they can change the color of those, and they're actually going to change them on Thanksgiving tomorrow, and so it'll be red and green. So you'll have red and green shooting up on the side of the building, and then you have the regular lights, and it looks really cool. Now, I need to do some photoshopping of getting rid of the big old stoplight right in the middle of the freaking building there, but I couldn't help it in the tree, in the big old bright light there. I'll have to get on Canva and do some magic to make it look better. But that's a building there. Looks amazing. Another thing here on this building, a lot of people always ask, how many bulbs can I put on one line? I got them. So with all of the bulbs, it was working fine, and it started tripping a breaker because where the sashes are, where the little sashes are here, where it cuts across here, those sashes, that's like a big gutter all the way across there, and they had laid some wires in there, and that caused it to pop the breaker. But all the lights on this whole building is 7 amps. It was like 7.1 amps for everything. So what they did, that would have been fine to leave that there, but they had 2 sources of power up there from 2 different places, so the GFCI. So they actually split it, and so everything from the sashes down is on one power, and everything from there up is on another power. And then by doing that, it's like 3 amps and 2 amps. So it's actually pulling less because we're not trying to shove so much through it there. And so it actually brought both of them down. And they leave them on all 24/7, so that's what they do. And so, this bulbs here, we're probably looking about 2,000 bulbs here, and it's only pulling 7 amps, which is pretty freaking amazing that many lights are only pulling 7 amps. All of these in the window are all C9s, so it's pretty cool. I know that the sashes right here, they're about 150 bulbs a piece. So right there is, 400 or 300, 500 bulbs ish right there by himself, 500-600 bulbs. So that's what's pretty cool about Christmas lights, and there's a lot of bulbs in there, but it did look good. It does look good at night. You can see this thing miles away. This is a high-end jewelry store in downtown Cincinnati. Yes, that might be a homeless guy sitting here by the truck right here. When you come down there at 11 o'clock, it's not the best feeling in downtown Cincinnati. But hey, I had to get pictures. Thank you, Jason, for all your help and advice with your channel. I hit my $66,000 lighthouse last week. We all appreciate you. Happy Thanksgiving. What's the best way to look at lights on a steep peak roof from a ladder or from a roof? What's the best way to hook lights on there? Usually using the goat or the pitch hopper, or using the Cougar Paul's shoes. But other than that, I hope you all have an amazing week. Happy Thanksgiving. Don't eat too much, and we'll see you all later.